Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about boundaries. And this is a critical, extremely important topic. In fact, we have a whole course about it because we find that a lot of people have issues creating boundaries in their life, whether it's with people, with themselves, learning how to say no, and things like that. So it's part of the process that's going to help you tremendously develop in your life and truly create happiness. So what I want you to do today is I want you to give yourself this gift. And this gift is to limit negative interactions and negative inputs that you have in your life. And this could be very easy. And this could be challenging. And I'll tell you what to do, whether for the easy or the challenging part. But I want you to remember that drama and negative emotions are very, very addicting. In fact, some studies have shown that they're as addicting as crack cocaine because you release adrenaline, norepinephrine in your system, get you all hyped up, produces these things, and you want more of it. So you find ways to create drama in your life or to create that negative emotion. So that's why some news channels are constantly breaking news or the world is falling apart, because it sells, because it's addicting. It's part of our hard wiring. So for today, give yourself that gift of unplugging that. So if you like to read negative news, don't do it today. Cut it out. If you like to watch the news and it's negative, turn it off. Today, give yourself this gift so your body can have a day and your mind can have a day to experience more joy. And you might find that you don't even want it. If you have a lot of people in your feed, in Facebook or social medias that are negative, don't even look at your social media then. What I want you to do is, again, create a positive day with the least amount of negative inputs as possible. So you might have to cut people out today, meaning that you don't interact with people that tend to be negative. Do you have a friend who always calls you to complain, or a family member, or someone else is constantly complaining about something, bringing negative to your life, negativity, or they might talk to you and they might criticize you for some reason and bring you down all the time? Try to cut that out today. Limit your interaction to them. And this might have to take a step from you. So when you are writing down in your notebook ways that you can set boundaries or things that you need to set boundaries for today to require less negative input. So you can write the news, reading the paper, not talking to Bill today, whatever it may be. You might have to develop a strategy for it. So part of that strategy might be telling yourself, so if they call me, I can say, well, today's just a very busy day. I cannot talk. I would love to be able to talk to you and see what's going on in your life, but today I just can't. That's a simple project. And they might be persistent, but this is the gift that you're giving yourself. And it might be a family member. It might be somebody that you live with. So how can you limit that interaction then? Or your boss or coworker, how can you limit that interaction? And what happens when you can't? Because let's be realistic. There's people in your life that you might have to interact that just might have a negative attitude and that might want to create a negative attitude within you. So how do you shift that? Maybe you can shift and cut them out for that day. Maybe you can. Maybe you can go somewhere for the day or whatever it is. But if you can't, then I want you to set the boundaries then mentally. Meaning that you can change your perspective. And I used to do this all the time. And people used to tell me, how do you stay so calm in the midst of taking someone's child as an investigator for the state of Florida, where I had to remove children, and somebody flipping out on you, cursing at you? Or how can, when you worked as an investigator, or you worked at a mental facility where people would be insulting you, insulting your family, saying all these things? Or even a coworker, when I used to work and I used to have to take services away from people that were doing stuff illegally. As a caseworker or a supervisor, and I had to deal with certain situations, they said, how do you do it? And one is depersonalizing, setting mental boundaries. So when they were saying negative things, I used to look at them and look at their body language. I never noticed that their forehead got really red when they got very emotional, or that they used to squinch an eye, or I would look at their body movement. Or they tend to repeat that word a lot. And I would find it funny in my head. Not that I was making fun of them. I was decreasing my stress of the situation by looking at the exterior and stepping outside of myself. out of emotional state, not being invested emotionally in that situation, then I can think clearly and I can deal with the situation from a different perspective, from a clear mind, a de-stressed mind, that I can then go forward and move forward with my day, or even that own situation to help shift it and de-escalate it if I needed to. So again, look how you can limit, write it down, things that you need to set boundaries for today that create negative inputs in your life. Decide if you need to come up with a couple quick strategies to do that. And if you can't, then decide again how you can set mental boundaries to create that in your life. Whether it's shifting outside of the conversation, not taking things personally by taking yourself out of that situation emotionally and looking at the surrounding things, and then focus your now and your focus on that, or focus on the little things of their interactions, body language, and things like that. Again, it sounds simple, and it can be if you do it, but boundaries is a critical step. So do the activity today, give yourself this gift of today, and possibly keep extending it, because you might find that you might like it. And I hope you do. And if you don't like it, it might mean that you like drama in your life and you want to continue it there, because again, it's very addicting. So then think of how you can implement this to have more days like this. Because once you have it written down, then you have a mental note of what things can I change. And now it's a snowball effect that then you're going to look for ways unconsciously to create less of it. I hope that helps. Set those boundaries.